Hello students, today we will go for the next concept of the column chromatography. In the last video we have seen the uh, how to packing of the column chromatography. Okay, so today we'll go for the methodology and methodology and see that we will complete this concept of column chromatography, and we'll touch the introduction part of HPLC today, and that will be the end point of your syllabus. Okay, of the on the chromatography. So unit 3, so given to me, so that will complete shortly. Okay, next video or by the next video once we touch the HPLC. So TLC is over, and today I will complete column chromatography, and finally HPCLC is there. That also will do it by one or two videos. Okay, fine. Now what is this methodology? In methodology you can see that the first thing comes is the column packing. The first thing comes is a column packing. So this we have already learnt in the last video that two types is used usually, that is wet and dry packing. Okay, so in the wet packing we are making slurry. Okay, we are making slurry, and we are forcing it from the top here, and this is going to be adsorbent. So adsorbent is going to be filled with the slurry, and slowly we can see that the slurry is been adsorbed here on the adsorbent, and the plate is nicely uniformly slurry is uniformly fixed to the adsorbent. This is one way. And dry, in the dry way, directly we are taking this adsorbent filled with the adsorbent like this. Okay, so this is how about the dry and the wet, but this is better than this one. So this is what we learned in the last video. Now coming to the next, that is sample packing. Okay, next methodology is the sample packing. So the name itself, the packing of the sample. So usually uh, for the again here two types of packing. It should be uniform, but two types of packing we can do it here. That is what wet type of packing here. So wet packing of the sample can be done here. So where the solution, okay, of the sample is prepared here in mobile phase. So here solution of sample is prepared in mobile phase. In mobile phase, this is what the solution of the sample is prepared in the mobile phase, and then it is poured like this. Then it is poured, okay, on the stationary phase. Okay, and from the top of the column. So this is what. And in a dry application, that is in dry application of the sample packing, we can see that the sample is not dissolved in the mobile phase. Here sample is not dissolved in the, not dissolved in mobile phase. Sample is not dissolved in mobile phase here. Okay, in the dry packing. So this is what this is used but in this the sample is usually in the volatile solvent is made use here. Volatile solvent is made used. Okay, and and adsorbent is added in this. So first this volatile solvent, then the sample is used in this volatile solvent, and the adsorbent is added. Okay, and the adsorbent is added like this. Okay, so adsorbent is added, and to absorb the sample, so whatever the sample will be there here, so it will be absorbed now on the adsorbent. And finally it is the solvent is evaporated, because since the solvent is volatile, then finally the solvent is evaporated like this. Okay, so this is how in the dry application part of this sample packing is done. So this is what about the second. And if you go for third methodology, that is column development. Column development type of methodology. So here in column development or elution. Okay, so in this elution, in the last previous video we had seen that two types, isocratic, okay, elution, and one more type here, there is gradient. So this is what you have to keep in the mind. Okay, so isocratic is what, throughout the elution, so same solvent ratio is mobile ratio, same mobile ratio is maintained, is mandate is not changed. But in gradient we can see that the ratio is changed two times or three times. Ratio is changed more than one times. Okay, so this is what about the gradient. The ratio of the mobile phase is changed here. Okay, this is what. The next we'll go for the factors affecting column chromatography. Factors, this also is very important, affecting column chromatography. So in this first one is the particle size, very important, particle size. So either it will be small particle size or large particle size. So this is a better. Okay, if you go for smaller particle size, what will happen? Smaller particle size, what will happen? The surface area increases, we know that. Okay, surface area increases. Okay, If surface area is increased, so what will happen? The suppression is better. The suppression is better. This is what happens. Okay, the suppression is better. Okay, and even the flow rate also decreases. This is also important. Flow rate also decreases. Okay, so this is what about the particle size. So it should be very small. Okay, so not large. Large is there, then the suppression is very difficult. Okay, so this is what, and for that reason the particle size, it has been very small size here, because the column can be packed very tightly. Column can be packed very tightly. So this is another advantage of this smaller size. So if the column is packed very tightly, then the suppression is very better. So this is what. Okay, so then if you go for next, that is optimum particle size. That's why always the optimum particle size is used around 60 to 150 micrometer. So this is what about the particle size usually they use in the column chromatography. Okay, next factor is about the packing. The while stationary phase should be uniform packed. This is very much uniformly packed. So stationary phase should be uniform packed. Okay, otherwise what will happen? The irregular of suppression will takes place. Okay, this is what. The next factor is ratio of. Okay, so ratio of sample to adsorbent. Sample to adsorbent, this is also very important. Okay, the ratio of the sample to adsorbent is very important here. So this should be also be proper, otherwise due to less available surface, what will happen? Tailing may takes place. Okay, tailing means they may lag behind, the suppression will lag behind like this. So it will not happen proper suppression, and that's why, because of the poor quality of the ratio of the sample to adsorbent, and tailing may takes place. So because of tailing, some mixing will be there. So ultimately you are not going to separate the component easily or very nicely. Okay, this is what. And usually the ratio kept is 1:20 like this. If you are 1 is a sample, so 20 times you are going to take as adsorbent. Okay, so like this sample to adsorbent ratio is very important. So we have to take in a proper proportion, otherwise it will give you the wrong suppression method or wrong suppression result. Okay, so this is what about the ratio of sample to adsorbent. So next is the mobile phase. Okay, so mobile phase, this also is very much important factor here. So in the mobile phase, so always you have to see that the proper mobile phase is should be selected. Okay, anything anyway what we comes in the mind, let's say that mobile phase is not to be selected. So like we have seen so many solvents we have seen, so many solvents. Okay, in the previous videos. So as the mind says, we cannot choose any one of the solvent and go for the elution here. So that may definitely will have the bad results. That's why, so before that we have to run a TLC, and from the TLC we'll come to know the proper ratio of the mobile phase, and that we can apply here, so for better results. So this is what about the mobile phase. And to avoid the tailing again here, so we have to use the proper mobile phase. Okay, the next one you can see that the flow rate. Okay, so flow rate also is very much important. Flow rate of mobile phase, flow rate of the mobile phase. So usually lower flow rate so gives the better narrow bands. Okay, so you see a lower flow rate gives better narrow band. This is what you have to keep in the minds, lower flow rate. Okay, so narrow bands. And next consistency should be there in the flow rate. There should be consistency should be there. Okay, at one speed only you have to see that the mobile phase is run. So there should not be fluctuation in the mobile phase. That will also lead to the bad suppression. So consistency of the flow rate is very much required here. Okay, should be maintained here for a good suppression. Okay, and for that what and more important here of this factor is the length of the column. So how you increase the length of the column, so is the suppression is very beautiful. Okay, suppression is good. So more you increase the column length, the suppression will be more suppression will be increased here because of the good resolution. Okay, so resolution is very better. So that's why usually the column length is kept, it should be high. Okay, so that's why the separation is better and the resolution also is better. So these are some of the factors of the column chromatography. Okay, and last part of the this is application. So you can see the application of the column chromatography in separation of different mixtures of compounds, in separation of different mixtures of compound. This is what the best application of the column chromatography is. And the second is removal of the impurities, to remove impurities. Okay, so remove the impurities also column chromatic can help us. Okay, and even for the isolation of constituents of the plants, isolation of constituents in plants, plant extraction also, this column chromatography is very useful. Okay, and also uh, yeah, plants, and also in the pharmaceutical drugs, like this. So these are some of the applications part of the what you say, column chromatography. So here we complete the column chromatography. Almost all points I have covered for the column chromatography. So next we'll go for the next new concept, final concept, that is your HPLC. What is HPLC? The name itself says high performance liquid chromatography. Okay, or sometimes they say high pressure, instead of performing high pressure, one and the same here. And the high pressure performance of the chromatography, okay, it is nothing but the analytical technique. This HPLC is nothing but analytical technique. Okay, it's nothing but analytical technique which is used to separate or identify or quantify. Okay, used to separate, identify or quantify the mixture of the compounds. Okay, so it gives the high performance due to smaller particle size. So they are very smaller particle size is used in this. That's why it gives high performance, usually in the range of around 3 to 10 micrometer, in this very less. Okay, 3 to 10 micrometer particle size usually they are using here. And that's the reason why the quantity of the, why the particles, why the high pressure, so high performance is given. That's why it is also called as high pressure or high performance liquid chromatography. Okay, so this is what and usually the pressure is applied here for the mobile phase is around 1000 to 4000 ps, a very high here. That's why it's also, you can also say as high pressure. Okay, or high performance because of its particle size. So anything can use it. So according to Van Dimter equation, which is given as, you know, that HETP is equal to A plus B by mu into C mu. So this is the Van Dimter we have learnt in the column in the TLC. So in there, so you know what is A, it is a disk diffusion. What is B, longitudinal diffusion. What is mu here, the flow rate of the mobile phase. And you can see the C is nothing but the mass transfer. Okay, so this is what we have learnt in the previous video. But if you see in HPLC, so this A, what is that? Disk diffusion, as I said, is low. So you can say that A is equal to negligible, that is 0, I can take it. So for HPLC, HETP height equivalent to plate here, so it becomes equivalent to P, I think, yeah, A plus C mu. This is not the eddies here, so I doubt for this. I think it is B, longitudinal. Okay, longitudinal is 0. Elution is 0. Diffusion is 0. And this diffusion is yeah, it will be there because of it depends on the liquid flow. So definitely yes, A will be there. B is equal to 0. So for HPCl, so it is given by A plus C mu will come here. So this is what about the introductory part of the so B is equal to 0, introductory part of the HPLC. Okay, in the next video we will go the next concept of the HPLC. Okay, so this is what, so hope you understood this. So we have learned many things on the column chromatography, ended this concept of column chromatography and started a new concept of the HPLC. Okay, hope you understood this. Thank you.